Good morning, students. This is presentation 5 of web programming. So we are on PHP. So now let us continue. On the previous presentation, we have introduced PHP. We have seen some basic concepts of PHP. We have seen control statements of PHP. We have seen loops of PHP. We have seen that control statements are used to control how programs execute. We have seen if, which execute instruction only if the condition is true. We have seen if else, which has something to do if the condition is true and something to do if the condition is false. We have seen if if, which evaluates many conditions and perform only one task whose condition is true. We have seen nested if. Nested if is a case where an if can be embedded inside another if. So we have seen loops. We have said that loops are those statements which execute a task in a repetitive manner. We have seen for loop, for each, while loop, and do while. Now let us continue on functions. PHP function is a piece of code that can be reused many times. So the purpose of function is called reusability of code. It can take input as argument list and return the value. There are thousands of built-in functions in PHP. So that piece of code you can define, okay? A collection of codes that is defined and given a name and given a name. That is what we call a function. So that code, that piece of code can be used many times. If we need to use that code, we need to call the function. So it means that that task is defined in function definition and then can be called by using a function code. Function codes are executed only when that function is called somewhere in the program. So we have built-in functions and user-defined functions. Built-in functions, they are those predefined functions. We can only use them. Okay, we can call them and use them. They are built-in functions or predefined functions. But a user can define his or her own function. So we call those kinds of functions user-defined functions. They are functions defined by the user, whereas built-in functions are predefined functions. The user can only use such kind of functions. So we have PHP function example. So we have a function say hello. Then we can define a task in say hello. Then we can call that function somewhere, anywhere. So these codes defined inside a function can be used anywhere in the program. Okay. So code reusability, it is the main purpose of the function. We can reuse instead of writing these codes. Many times we can define these codes inside the function, and then we can call that function whenever we need to use these codes. So we can go by doing, we can learn by doing, We said in PHP, let us save our file. Function, let me call it function1.php. As I told you, a function, it is a group of codes that is used to perform a specific task. Okay, a group of codes that is used to perform a specific task. So that group of code, you have to define it and give it a name. That name is the name of the function. And that code, that group of code is used, the intention of it is code reusability. If we need to define something that can be usable many times, so we need to put that group of code in a function. So now, how to define a function? Put a function keyword, function, hello. So it is the function it will be started with, then echo good morning students. Now we can call this function say hello. It is hello. So if we need to display good morning students, we need to call the function. So we can call it a number of times we need. Save. Let me see. Host. Our folder is PHP2. Which is our we using? So let's go to this one and see if we are using this one. What is the name of work PHP2? Let's use this browser. The host web PHP fn1.php. Okay, we have our output. We have our output. You can see the output. Good morning, students. 3 times. It means how many times you need your function to execute. So you have to call that function that number of times. Now a function can have arguments. Okay. We can pass the information in PHP through in function through arguments, which is separated by comma. So you can pass arguments into your function and separate those arguments by comma. PHP support call by value by default, call by reference default arguments, and variable argument list. So let us see the example pass argument in PHP function. So here we are having a function say hello, which is having variable name as argument. Now in the function definition, we are having hello, then the name of variable, hello name. It means whatever value you will pass in function call, it will be displayed in function definition. Okay, you can see it by in this example. So we can show it practically also. Hello student. Now good morning student, like this. Then hello Sam, hello Tom, hello Sandra. Then let us save and see what will be the change. Can you see? Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Sandra. Okay. So the same function is greeting 3 students. Okay. By passing a name of a student into a function, so you can bring the value in the output. It is visible and it is understandable. So you can also pass 2 arguments. Okay. hello, name, then age. Then hello, name in the function definition. The function definition, you see it, say hello. We have name as the first argument and age as the second argument. Then you can say hello, name of student, then you are age old. So we can do it student age. Good morning. You are age old. So it is simple. Good morning, student. You are age old. If we say, okay, and see the output, argument 2 from say hello code. So we have an age. Here we need to put a second. Then, and you can see, good morning, sir. You are 30 years old. 30 years. Yes. Okay. Now, can you see code reusability of codes? The reusability of codes. Okay. We need to display good morning, Sam, you are 30 years old. Good morning, Tom, you are 36 years old. So instead of displaying this sentence 3 times, we can define it in a function once, okay? We can define it in a function once, and then we can call that function 3 times. And in that case, we are using the code defined inside our function hello, and then we are using it as many times as we need. Now, call by value, by default, we have to pass values, okay, inside our function. The values passed by value, you cannot modify it inside the function, okay. You cannot call it and modify your value. For example, okay, this we are passing values. We are passing values here. We can also pass references. Okay, we can also pass references to these functions. Let us see. So value passed to the function doesn't modify the actual value by default. Okay, or by value. But we can do so by passing values as a reference. For example, we have a function adder. We are passing a reference. Okay. Now function other string 2 equals call by reference. Now string, okay, we are the value we are having, the variable we are having in function definition. Now we are modifying its content. String variable string equals help. Now we are calling the function other by passing the second variable. So hello call by reference. Hello call by reference. Now we are modifying the content. We are modifying the content of our function. Here you can see the content is called by reference. Now the output is hello called by reference. Okay. Now that is called by reference, but called by reference, we use a percent to indicate that we are calling our function by reference. We use a percent to indicate that we are calling the function by reference. Okay. So let's see a simple example to call by reference. Here we have our example by default. So we are modifying the content, our content of our function by calling the function by passing an argument by reference. So we can define a default argument in a function. Default argument is an argument which is applied if you didn't specify any argument. Okay. Now we have say hello. We are defining a default argument. Okay. Name equals so no. It means when we call without passing an argument by passing no value. Okay. Now the default one will be applied. Okay, you can see it. We are saying say hello. Say hello. Here we didn't specify any argument. We can specify a default argument value in a function while you calling PHP function. If you don't specify any argument, it will take the default argument. Let's see a simple example. The example is here, so we can also show it practically. Now, student equals Danny, age equals 10. And reduce the size to 3. Now, here, let's leave argument empty. It means here we didn't pass any value. It means our default value will be applied. You see, for good morning, Danny, you are 10 years old. So you can see the default argument student equals Danny, age equals 10. But if we run, the first sentence will be good morning, Sam. Good morning, Sam. Sam, you are 60 years old. Sam, 60 years old. but here we didn't specify any values. Okay. Now, what will be the output? Our default arguments will be applied. So, the second sentence will be, good morning, Danny, you are 10 years old. Okay. The third sentence will be, good morning, Sandra, you are 40 years old. So, this is how the default argument works, operates. So, returning a value. A function can return a value. So let's see an example on how a function can return a value. Now we have function q. We are here we are defining a function which finds the q of a number. It finds the q of a number. Now we are returning a value. What is the meaning of returning a value? So the execution of a program starts from here. So we go to the function definition when we reach the function call. Okay. So the execution starts by displaying cube of 3 is, then we are calling the cube function. Okay. So at here the our translator does not know exactly what is the function of this cube function. To know the task of this cube function, we need to go to the function definition. Okay, we have to go to the function definition, and then we find that we are finding the cube of our value, and we are coming back. We are bringing back the answer here. Okay, that is the meaning of returning, because we start from here, we go here, and we return the value here. Okay, that is why we say returning a value.